Hi guys, out here again in the northern Finland, in Kittilä, for a week of Arctic bushcraft camping, and just took another stop just to talk about some of the kit again. So in my last video I talked about my sleeping bag and my undermat, and today I just want to talk about clothing. Just before I do, so at the minute it's only -10, which is nothing. It's been down to -33, but -10 feels so much warmer, and it's crazy because if I was back in the UK and it was -10, I'd be freezing. And it's just a different cold in the UK because it's so much wetter when it snows and it gets in your clothes and you get wet. It's a lot colder out here, it's drier. They always say it's like a desert, and that's why you need to drink so much, and that's why you lose so much water, because every time you breathe out you're expelling moisture out of your body, and every time you breathe in you've got to humidify that air because the air is so dry, because it's all frozen. There's no air, there's no moisture in the air. Why was I talking about that? -10. Oh yeah, because of the temperature. Yeah, so yeah, it's crazy. So it may seem like I'm wrapped up, but I've just done this so I couldn't talk to you about kit. I would have stayed in the tent, but it's dark in there, and I think you'd much rather see this beautiful land that I'm in instead of the back of the tent. So I did a previous video on kit, which was a bit, I suppose, preemptive because I hadn't actually been out yet, and I don't want to do a review without actually testing things out. Saying that though, I have stuck to well, a lot of the kit that I originally talked about in that video. But anyway, let's start from the bottom. So we could do feet to head, or we could just do base. Yeah, well, let's start with feet. So on my feet I have got Fox Outdoors pack boots. They have got the winter liners in. I also have a pair of British Army mucklucks, which also have a pair of wool felt liners in. Stepped off the track there for a second. You've got to stay on the track or else you go in waist deep. So the liners for both the pack boots and the mucklucks are interchangeable. So while one of them is drying, you can be wearing the other, and you can keep your feet warm. The difference between the two, so your pack boots, the pack boots I find warmer, the mucklucks I find more comfortable to wear, which sounds strange because you think the warm ones are more comfortable, but the pack boots are heavier. Mucklucks are simply a canvas boot, so they breathe, so any moisture that gets built up in your feet from exerting yourself can be passed out. So you can only use them though in really cold conditions, because if you use them in wet conditions, then if they can expel moisture, then they can absorb moisture. So it needs to get, I think the guys were saying maybe below, I'd even think -10. One of the guys was wearing his mucklucks today, -10, and the snow melted a bit on them and he had to dry them out. So I think they said maybe -15 is kind of perfect. Anything lower than -15 is your perfect temperature for mucklucks. And mucklucks are what the traditional groups, Sami, Venk, that they're going to, well, that's what they wear, but not British Army ones. They make their own, which are a lot nicer. So yeah, I have those on my feet. I'm wearing the pack boots at the minute. I have enough pairs of British Army wool socks for each day, so that I can have a nice dry pair on each day, because I don't want any build up of moisture, freezing, and I like nice dry pairs when I'm going to bed. So that's my feet. There we go. Got pack boots. Working way up. Okay. So okay. Base layers for my legs. I'm gonna give a shout out to Aldi. So Aldi, I've tried your merino wool base layers down in -33 conditions, and they're amazing. They're absolutely brilliant. They wick away moisture like they need to, and they keep me warm, and they keep me dry, and they keep me smelling all right. I mean, After a few days, yes, you are going to smell, but wool has a great benefit of is it antibacterial type thing, so you don't smell as much. So Aldi, your merino wool base layers, I have been using. Some of the other guys have been using them as well. They are fantastic. Now, they're not the only base layers I've been using. I've been using Wool Power as well. Sometimes at the same time, if it does get really cold, or if I'm going into bed. Sometimes instead of, because I want to change my layers up, dry some off, or just a fresh pair on. So they're not the only ones you've been using. To be fair, it was a bit of a, not a risk, but it was a, let's see how good they actually are. But yeah, Aldi, you get a thumbs up from all of us here. Merino wool base layers, Aldi, nice and not too cheap, but cheaper than your Wool Power and other top brands. So if you're looking for a pair of base layers and you're on a budget, then Aldi are the ones to go for. So excellent. So continuing legs. So I've had Aldi's base layers. I've had a pair of merino wool, Wool Power merino wool 400s, I think they are, as a kind of top up one, but I have mostly just been in my Aldi base layers and then my top pants, which I'll talk about in a second. It's only when it got down to -33 for bedtime I put the Wool Power leggings on as well. My top layer is a pair of Kraghopper, Kraghopper Kiwi fleece lined pants. They are excellent. You can brush the snow off them. They're fleece lined, so they're nice and warm. And so for most of the days out here when it's been -20, -25, I've just been in my Aldi base layer pants and my Kraghopper Kiwi fleece lined pants, and I've been absolutely fine. Your legs, you do need to worry about them, but you don't need to worry about them as much. As long as your extremities and your core are warm, then your legs are going to sort themselves out. So we've done feet, we've done legs, onto top now. So I had an Aldi merino wool base layer top as well, which is fantastic, and then I had a Wool Power 200 top. I had a Wool Power 600 top as well. So the 200, so the Wool Power 200 and the Aldi ones, I've not been wearing them at the same time. They kind of do the same job, but Wool Power, like they're slightly thicker, slightly nicer, slightly more comfortable. But as far as the itch, everyone's worried about the itch. We all know that merino wool is a lot softer. Wool Power is extremely soft, and I've not had any itches at all. Aldi base layers, again, not had any itch. You think because they're cheaper they're going to compromise on comfort, but absolutely not. They're keeping me warm. I did a video previously showing them wicking away moisture. It's very clear when it's out here, because wicking away moisture, the moisture wants to come away out of your layers and then it freezes. So I did a video on actually seeing these little wispy white, they almost look like hairs coming out of my layers, and they're doing the job. They are moving the moisture away from the body, so they're fantastic. I can't fault them. So then I've had a Wool Power 600, which is a zip up top, and that's kind of been like a nice jumper to put on. I've had a thick jumper that I got from the charity shop. Wool is king. Everyone says wool is king. If you're coming out to really cold conditions, get yourself some wool. It doesn't have to be the most expensive ones. I think the most expensive wool was obviously the Wool Power ones, but the rest of my wool was from charity shops, because you can get it at a discounted price, and the older ones, the more tighter weave on them, and that's going to be warmer. So I've had that I have a jumper, and that's been fantastic. So if it's got -33, I had my merino wool base layer, merino wool 600, my charity shop wool jumper, and then my snow smock or my down jacket. So my down jacket is a mountain equipment one. It's actually underneath this right now. It's an old one I got off eBay, but it's down, I think it's a 900 fill. So it's nice and lofty. And and that's been great. And then on top is this Swedish Army snow smock. Try and get a view of that. Okay, so it's been modified slightly. So this snow smock is one that used to open up all the way down. It's been sewn up about halfway so that it's more of a smock, and then it's still open at the top so that you can kind of vent some of the moisture, some of the warm air out. As I've put some nice cuff designs on them, and I've sewn a fox fur ruff, again charity shop. Okay, you want real fur as well. It's better at shedding snow and ice because it's tapered at the ends. Faux fur is all right, but it's not going to be as effective in snow and ice. So yeah, charity shop jumper, charity shop, they're great, absolutely great. So yeah, I've sewn up, put some nice designs on, put some patches on, but the biggest modification is sewing the fur ruff on, just to give you a bit of a microclimate when you put your hood up. It stops the wind getting to the back of your neck as well. It really is nice and comfy. So feet, pants, top, gloves. So if I just take my gloves off for a second, I have a pair of Decathlon merino wool base layer. I don't know why I keep on saying base layer. Decathlon well, gloves, they're thin gloves, but they've got the I can use my phone with them as well, so I've been able to take pictures and take videos without having to expose my hands completely. And then these bad boys, these have been absolutely great. These are the Hestra Fault Guide gloves. They have a wool liner that can be removed so that you can dry them separately. Let me just put them back on. You can have a view of the trees while I'm doing that. So yeah, merino wool. Hestra Fault Guide gloves, absolutely the bee's knees. Really warm, and it's really useful to be able to still be able to use your fingers. So that's basically what I've been using my hands. I did bring mittens, but to be honest, I've not had to use the mittens at all. Minus 33, and I was still in these. Yeah, I'd put my hands in my pocket as well, but I've not really had to put the mittens on at all. I've not felt the need. If I felt the need, I would have put them on. If my hands weren't warm enough, then I'd put them on, but I still brought them. Anyway, I'll show you those later in a picture update. But because I've not used them, I don't want to review them, because I don't want to say whether they've worked or not, because I've not really used them. So, and the last one is a fur trapper hat. So again, real fur, T-shankers, trapper hats. But just look around. If it says real fur, I think this one's rabbit fur. Real fur is your best bet. Super warm, and comfortable as well. I've not brought it out with me, but the other thing that I've had was a alpaca merino wool mix hat that was knitted for me by one of our members, Julie. She knitted us all those hats, and they've been super warm. Alpaca wool, a merino wool mix, absolutely the bee's knees. So whenever I've not had this on, if it's been too warm to wear this, then I've just had that hat on. Apart from that, neck, I've had some buffs. This is just I think I've got like just a fleecy buff on, like a ski fleece buff. I've had a Wool Power merino wool neck, merino wool balaclava to wear for bed. But other than that, that's been about it. That's and it's been absolutely fine. Like I said, minus 33. Layering is the key, and it's said everywhere. If you're looking into cold weather survival, cold weather camping, they always say about layering. Layering is the way to go. Instead of just getting your big mothership as well. I'll show you that in a second. I'll go back over to the tent because that's an important one. But yeah, layering, instead of just having a t-shirt on and then putting your massive jacket on, well, you're going to be too warm as soon as you start working. It's all about being able to take layers off, put them back on when and as you need them. If you start building up a sweat, you just need to take one layer off, and you're in a comfortable temperature. You don't want to be too hot, you don't want to be too cold, just right. Maybe on the cooler side, and then you know you're not getting too hot. But yeah, layering. So it's all about thinner layer, slightly thicker, thicker, and then a windproof smock that you can easily dry if it's getting snow on, that you can easily brush off. That doesn't really have any insulating properties that can be damaged by being wet or getting any ice or snow in them. So that's why we've got the smocks on the outside. But yeah, as I'm doing other videos, you'll see some of the other kit people are wearing. Everybody though, apart from Suzanne, has got a Swedish snow smock as their overlayer. They have gone up in price on eBay, but you can get the there's, I think, a version 1 was just a smock version. It didn't open up all the way. Version 2, which is less expensive, opens up all the way, but you can sew it up like this one has been done. So yeah, if you have any questions at all about any of the kits, any of the clothing, anything at all about how it's been used or the conditions, then please put some comments in below. I can answer them as much as I can about my kit. If you have any questions about any of the other kit you see, again, put the comments in and I can pass it on to the guys and get back to you. So yeah, honestly, this is my first time out here. I wish there were more videos out there that kind of took you through what type of clothes you had to wear, because a lot of them were saying, oh, you have to buy this, you have to buy this, the top of the range stuff. I don't think any of them have said you can go to charity shops and you can get wool, and wool is going to be your best bet. So honestly, if you have any questions, I really want to help anyone out as best as I can. Okay, and I'll see you on the next video.